This is Aaron of the Amigos with a quick update on the HOUSE 500. I have done extensive work this week on getting this thing up and usable to a better degree. Step one, we've installed the Gotek virtual hard drive software and hardware. Everything looks good. Put the cable on backwards once, which I thought was strange the way it worked out, but spun it around and worked fine. Having a lot of fun with that, and I'll tell you about a program I found in a moment. This came as a big surprise. I planned on getting into the expansion we've got, which is this. We've mentioned it before. We shot a video on it. It was the Dataflyer Express. I was pleased to see that the version we have actually has an IDE connector right here. Of course, it's got the SCSI connector right here, and the drive in it, when we turned it on, it wouldn't boot up. It just sat there and for a while, and I thought, well, you know, we've got this, if you'll recall, we have the jury-rigged power supply from the Polish adapter people, and so that's an old, incredibly old power supply that's stuck in there. But I thought to myself, you know, we can take this opportunity to add power to this hard drive. The plug that comes in there is this one. And I looked over, I was like, you know, this is coming directly off the power adapter. So if this hard drive works, we should be able to power it just with the, you know, one of the many leftover power ports that is on this old PC power supply. So for once, having an old decrepit power supply comes in handy, because sure enough, if you look right here, it booted right up to this not new hard drive, to this SCSI hard drive, and you can see the someone's got their workbench installed. This is actually the virtual Gotek that I've just happened to have on Marble Madness, and so wow, what a pleasant surprise that this came up. You can see we've got 4 empty slots here to put more memory in, and you can see the memory we've got right now. This thing has no extra memory in it. It has nothing in the belly slot, so you can see we've got the half 400. We've got a 512 meg, and then we've got the 4 meg fast. I'd like to put the other 4 in there if I can find those chips. This Dataflyer Express is quite a nice card. Excuse me. I read that the Dataflyer original were basically the cards of the 2000 Amiga 2000 that they had built with a little board that would fit into the 500, but this is a custom board they made exclusively for the Dataflyer Express, and I am impressed. It's got IDE and SATA, like I mentioned, plus it also has a SATA external, plus you've got the memory. So I mean, you've got a very nice package of stuff here. That's just a little piece of plastic that goes across the screw that I've taken off. But you could set this thing to auto boot. Like, I did nothing. It was ready to go. So what I'd like to do is to get a compact flash card and an IDE to a compact flash adapter to put right here to take the job of the hard drive. Although I have to say, it's nice to have a fallback on the SCSI. Because wow, it's lucky. It's again, this thing has the same adapter on the back that the Amiga's got, that square adapter. So you need 2 power supplies, and I'm guessing the power supply on the Amiga just could not run a hard drive, and so that's why you've got this separate power supply. We just didn't know, and there's not much out there on these items, and so it's just lucky that we had this monster of a power supply box here. And like I said, I was just like, I wonder if this will work, and I tried it, and I couldn't believe it. It came right up. So a pleasant surprise. If anyone out there has a Dataflyer Express and wants to share a little information with me, that'd be great. I'm not 100% sure if there's any special things needed on the hard drive to get the boot from it. Like I said, having the other hard drive here that's bootable will help me. But I plan on getting me a compact flash, and boy, it'd be great to have the compact flash WHD load set up on a 500. Plus, with the Gotek, we're rocking. Oh, and one more thing. I want to talk about this little item here. This is a tremendous item from Jason. It's a it basically lets me run out of the you can see the display port on the back, and it not only does it have composite, excuse me, it's also which is tremendous to have that S video coming out of there. And this is all custom made, and a great job. I mean, this thing's a lifesaver, and it allows me to use this tiny little monitor for testing, and it's perfect. It's perfect. So, oh, and here's the joystick that I picked up at Korg's. I gave it a trial run. I'm gonna put some new micro switches in it, but hell, it works pretty darn well, to be honest with you. So that's the update. I'm pleased. I'm very pleased, to be honest with you. And before you say anything, yes, I did cut this this bay to put in the Gotek. But if you look at this case, it's in rough shape. This was a second-hand top on this 500, and it's got cracks and stuff. And I mean, we got a good deal on it. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's one case that if you're going to cut one, this is the one you're going to cut because it's old, it's beat up, the insides are broken up. So I thought, well, this is the beater. We're going to go ahead and make the cut. But it went. Actually, I thought I did a decent job installing it. I mean, it's I never like cutting into a 30-year-old Amiga, but it was actually cracked back there anyway. And I thought, well, there's no way I can get this to sit in there without a bunch of trouble. I didn't want to have it external, and so I went ahead and just got a little Dremel work on it. But I like the way it sets. And this case is so yellowed, nasty. I may paint the whole damn thing black. I will say this in closing, with the recent addition of the ability to buy new cases for the Amiga, I feel a little bit better about it. I wouldn't have cut this thing under any circumstances, even if it was beat up, if I didn't know I didn't have the ability to replace it. It's one thing that always bothered me, and I know people are coming down on both sides of it, and trust me, I thought long and hard before I went ahead and did it. Again, if it wasn't for this case being so beat down, I wouldn't have done it. If you'll recall, my original case, my cat tipped it off the bookshelf, and it did a full roll, much like Fiendish Freddy. And it unfortunately it missed the bucket and did a face plant and broke up. So it got a little mauled. One last thing I want to talk about before I forget. There's a little program that is a tremendous little program. I just picked it up. I'm sure a lot of people that have these Gotek drives know about this already, but in case you don't, it's called HXC Edit, okay? And what it does is it lets you take your memory stick out, and it lets you go through and just literally it goes through the whole memory stick and just lets you drag anything you want into those slots that make up the different drives. You know, you hit the button to 1, and whatever you got in slot 1 loads. And so I slotted just some stuff that I thought I'd like to play, and I ended up coming up with, gosh, it was like 400 and some. Now, and then it lets you print out the list, which is great. Now, there's one caveat to this that I noticed is that if you look, it's got Adam's Family is 000. Well, actually, nothing is 000 because that's the software that boots up. So it actually starts at 1. So every one of the things on that list is off by 1. I don't know if it's something I screwed up or that's just the way it prints. I'm not 100% sure. No big deal. I just add 1 to whatever I want to load. But talk about saving time. It makes it a lot easier, and you just load up what you want. So anyway, overall, it's been a good day, and I will continue to update you. And once we've got the compact flash adapter and the card. I'm going to give that a whirl, and then we'll go down that road. I cannot find anyone that has done that compact flash on the 500 with the Dataflyer Express, which fills me with a certain sense of dread, but we're going to give it a shot and see what we can do. Hopefully, worst case scenario, we can at least, use it. I'd like to fill it with the WHD stuff, and this thing would be for filming both ends of the deal. Plus, I actually have a working mouse on this one, unlike my 1200, which still has that mouse issue. So, all in due time on that. But anyway, that's the update from Amigo Labs. We will see you next time. Adios.